Hey friends, welcome to League of Legends Anonymous Podcast. It's I, your always energetic host, shouting in your eardrums. Goodbye everybody! Not today, friends. Today's a somber occasion because we're talking about something fun. We're going to talk about Arcane because I finally finished it and Stove has been chomping at the bit to talk about Arcane. So, I felt like since we're talking about something fun and cool, I'd just take it in all smooth like butter. And that's how we would approach today's episode. So as I've already spoiled, Stove's here. What's up, Stove?
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen?
No, you just stop with ladies.
Ladies.
How's it going? Hey. Ladies.
I don't discriminate. Everyone's hot.
How's it going, gentlemen? With your big, beautiful balls flopping around all over the place. Holy jeez, I wanted to lick them. You ever watch that or listen to that Adam Sandler CD?
Which one?
Oh, the Adam Sandler CD with like the goat on it.
Yeah.
Where he throws the goat a pass and then it hits him in the eye. Anyway, that was one where he's we're talking to like grandma about like whatever, and she keeps making it sexual. Yeah, with this big beautiful balls just flopping around all over the place. Holy jeez, I wanted to lick them. And then, no, it's whenever they're talking to each other in the car and they keep kicking people out because they say inappropriate shit. Anyway.
Yep.
That was the one. So, Arcane. Guys, heads up. If you are listening to this episode and you have not finished Arcane yet, stop listening to this episode. Full alert. There be spoilers here. And there will be. We are talking about fucking everything.
The episode will be here when you get back. By all means, it's 9 episodes. Easily bingeable. We'll see you in a few hours.
Yeah, man, just catch up. Because this is going to be all spoiler chat. So, you are warned. And with that warning, I'm going to give you 24 more seconds. I'm watching the clock. So once that hits 3 minutes, then we're going to start talking about Arcane. Starting at whatever we find to be the most interesting and ending at whatever we find to be the least interesting, maybe on a high note. Who knows? Who knows where this conversation is going to roll? All right. Spoiler time. All right, man. What you got? Arcane.
So, I just want to open with the joke. You think Jace went back to Mel and was just like, I think your mom was hitting on me. I really think your mom was just hitting on. She was just straight butt-ass naked, showing me everything.
You remember that first time that you went to meet your girlfriend's parents and she got up out of the bath with her twink and just was like, hey, how's it going?
How's moving twink?
Like, dude, apparently Noxus has like a huge twink population. Apparently, I wouldn't have guessed that Noxus would be so twink friendly, but I guess it is, because that's like a young hairless masseuse with like a weird mustache. Like,
well, remember that's Piltover, so it could just be like she's super into twinks.
I think she brought him. Like, I think that twink had his own little car. And it's like, hey,
I don't know.
This is my twink,
but
Jerome.
That was...
You know, that was a little weird. I'm not gonna lie.
It was okay. It wasn't the weirdest scene. It wasn't the weirdest moment.
Yeah, in a show about drug abusing people from subsurface evil dwarves or whatever.
With magic and shit.
With magic and shit. You're right, the twink wasn't the weirdest, and it was in the running for the weirdest. So, but no, that whole scene, like, just take a step back and think to yourself, that's the chick he's banging's mom. And she's straight up, like, the good news is, like, at least you know, like, you got a good idea for how floppy your girlfriend's gonna be later in life. Yeah.
You know how hot your girlfriend's gonna be by looking at her mom.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah. Like, yeah. Your mom could ride a velociraptor, and I'd be like, yeah, that fits. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I can see that lady riding a velociraptor and be like, totally, yeah. Yep, she belongs on that thing.
But yeah, all right, we got that. I had to get that joke.
And by the way, have you noticed that that lady is butch as fuck? Like,
oh
no
yeah,
doubt,
she's
right? Like, she could play some
like
softball, is my
a
point.
Lowy built.
Yeah, she's a Lowy built, right? And so she's super butch. And, like, her daughter looks like a runway model. The only conclusion that I can draw is that her father must have been the twinkiest of twinks.
Well, you have to.
You know what I mean?
remember
Like,
she
that dude
was-
had to be made out of twigs to
Yeah.
combine with her frame and make this petite little girl. Like, he would have to basically be next level petite.
But you also have to remember she was exiled from Noxus, so I'm pretty sure her mom was just like that. She just built that herself.
Well, right. I mean, cool. I hear your point. But at the same time, like, if my dad is Shaq, right, and I'm exiled from Noxus, I'm still not going to be, like, 5'4" and thin. I'm going to be fucking enormous. Because my dad was a rhinoceros of a man, right?
This is true. Yep.
So the only way you can combat Shaq DNA is by Super Twink Dwarf DNA. And you mix those together.
It'll seem appropriate considering how many twinks she went through.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, and
Chick does clearly love her twinks. So, that being said, like, all in all, I did want to say, like, overall impression of the show before we go into too many specifics. I mean, I would go as far as to say, like, 10. Like, that
Yes.
it was everything I wanted to watch in a show. It was fantastic. Even the complaints I have, which I will go into later, are more annoyances than they are, like, legitimate things I think were bad. You know what I mean?
yeah, yes, it's at worst it feels like a low 10. Like it just went over 10. It's still a
Yeah.
10, but it's like
Yeah.
that's at worst. It's
Right.
still a 10.
Like, we're arguing about degrees of perfection, is
Yes.
what I'm getting at, right? Really loved it, was interested start to finish. And there is some things about it that I do want to get into, particularly the ending as a whole, right?
Yes.
Like, keep in mind, the standard storyteller's perspective, right, is like you build the story all the way up to the story's climax. And then the climax happens. Then there's a brief period of resolution, which is something like 5 to 10% of the book. And then the ending happens, right? Like,
Yes.
that is how a story is kind of I don't want to say meant to unfold, but that is like the established pattern for novelistic storytelling.
It's more fulfilling of a story when you know what happens post climax.
Yes. Like it gives the readers closure, right?
Yes.
And that is not to say that you can't do that and still end on a cliffhanger. Right? Like, there are so many stories where, like, they think they defeated the villain and everybody's talking about how great life's going to be right now and, like, the king is back on the throne and whatever, right? And
Thanos
so
at the end of
and then, like,
Avengers 1.
and then, like, the hand twitches or whatever and oh, they're not dead. You know,
Yes.
like, okay, that's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. Like, it is a twist or it's a, you know, it's a cliffhanger, but it happens post conclusion. Like, the ultimate battle between good and evil happened before that, right?
Yes.
The cliffhanger.
And then the post battle happened. Okay, let's
Right.
repair everything. Who's alive? Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Like-
you can leave with a hanger.
Right.
This doesn't.
This does
This did
not follow that protocol. This was literally, we are ending at the moment of climax.
At
Right,
the
like,
apex of climax.
There is no post-coital cigarette here. It is just money
Wham,
shot.
bam, thank you.
Like just straight up money shot, and then what? Nothing. And so I thought that was I don't actually have a complaint about that per se. I just thought it was very interesting that that was the choice that they chose to make, especially considering that the series will not receive a follow-up for probably 2 years.
At least till 2023, they said. Nothing in 2022.
So, I mean, that's pretty heavy, right? Like, to end on that note kind of takes some brass balls, is my point. Right? Like,
I assume they already, if you didn't know, if I don't know how you're hearing this, you didn't know, they announced a season 2. Okay. I'm pretty sure they started that season 2 probably a year or 2 ago. At least the writing part. Like they probably finished the story and everything probably like 2 years ago, and they're like, all right, we can end it here. Let's work on the next season, because they knew it was gonna be. They knew it was gonna be a banger, whether it was good or not.
yeah, I kind of thought that a logical break point for that would be to like have the explosion, and then you don't totally know who's dead or alive out of that, right? And then it would like cut to Victor, and then like something happens with the hex core and he makes a decision. You know what I mean? Like,
or there was something with Mel with the golden thing. What was that?
what? Which golden thing?
So when the rocket was about to hit the glass,
yeah,
and it goes to the council.
yeah.
Mel knows something's bad's gonna happen. You see all the gold on her like back and neck just light up gold, and she looks back at the window, unprompted.
I assume that she like noticed that it was bright, because remember in the picture there's that like hex core, and it's putting off a shit ton of blue light, right? So
true.
I thought it was like, what the fuck is that bright ass light behind me? Oh God! Like I thought that was the moment, right? Maybe I'm too easy on that one. I don't know.
It's weird that everything went dark except the gold parts on Mel's shoulders and neck. And she looked like she was the only one who looked back at the window.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, okay, that's fair. But like I figured they would do something like cut to Victor, and Victor is like desperately looking at the hex core, coughing up blood or something, so you know, like, oh, next time it's gonna be.
Well, remember, he was there. He was at that meeting. Yeah.
Was he at that meeting?
Yes, he was right behind Jace when Jace was trying to push, like, give the lanes.
Oh, you're right.
The like their own independence.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The only real tease we got was Singed A, looking at the locket, and B, what is hanging above him
is Warwick.
Which is Warwick.
Yeah,
and
it's Warwick.
Probably Vander.
By the way, whenever I pointed that out, I was watching it with my buddy Rick, because I've told you guys all we were watching it. And my eyes were on the top left of the screen, which is quite obviously like Warwick's claw.
Yeah.
Right? And then over here, it's like you could see kind of his body, what looked like fur, and then you see like the green, like vial thing sticking out of him. And Rick was looking at that, and he didn't realize that it was the claw. Because the claw is what gave it away, right? Like that's Warwick.
And I mean, the teaser also gave us
like
a huge confirmation.
Yeah, well, no, he didn't. We hadn't seen that. And I was like, oh shit, it's Warwick. And he's like, what? And I had to back it up, and I'm like, look at this side. And he's like, oh shit, it's Warwick. You know, but no, I figured they would figure out, or they would do something and be like, Singed would like click a vial or something, knowing that he'd fucked over Victor, or like, you know, like smile about setting Jinx loose on the world or something. So you could see that there was like kind of a mad evil there that would have to be
Jinx
dealt with. No, in
Singed?
Singed. That would have to be
I
dealt with, or
I
you know.
honestly think it was with the Warwick, but from what I am, from people who know the lore better than me, there was apparently Oriana was created as Oriana is Singed's daughter. So him looking at that
Is
locket
Singed the professor that made Oriana?
I think it.
I didn't think that was right. I thought it was somebody from Piltover that made Oriana.
I'm about to.
Yeah, go ahead and Google that
that's,
bitch.
But that's what I was looking. Like, that's what people were saying is that for season 2, we may get Oriana because that apparently it's supposed to be Singed's daughter. We're gonna get Warwick. We're possibly gonna get Camille.
I mean, yeah, she's from the area. All right.
Well,
they also set up a connection. They did set up a connection to Noxus with like this guy is taking over, or whatever Noxus, and I'm like, ooh, is it Swain? Like who killed her dad?
And
is it Swain taking over Noxus? Is it Talon who killed her dad at the order of somebody else? Like did LeBlanc do it? Like there's so many options there. You know what I mean? That feels like a tie-in, and it feels like the series could spread,
expand into other.
Mm-hmm. As long as the storylines intermesh, it could. Anyway,
Like if I would assume the way Noxus gets involved is that they hear about they hear about the explosion with Jinx. They're like, okay, there's hex weapons. All right, we're gonna go and get
us some of them weapons.
Exactly, because I'm pretty sure that'll probably lead into their war with Ionia.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like ultimately, the whole thing makes sense.
Because Mel's mom's talking about a war upcoming, and if this predates everything, it would be the Noxus War with Ionia. Maybe we get Darius?
Yeah, we could. We very well.
For sure, Swain. Like, if anyone, Swain.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the interesting kind of twist to me is like, okay, so what is the Noxus guy, that's looking to make moves, right? And that, like, guy who makes moves out of Noxus kind of screams Swain. But it could, depending on the time frame, it could be fucking anybody. It could be the guy that Swain kills to give her Swain's at or whatever.
Could be,
but like,
is it Katarina's father?
Yeah, Katarina's father, and Katarina's father and Cassiopeia's father, it's the same guy. So I mean, it's interesting. Like, I'm really curious where they're going to go with that, because like what I told Rick whenever we first started this city is like, or this series, why did they pick this city? It's like the least compelling out of all of the places.
Okay.
In Runeterra.
I looked up Oriana. There was a ruse. My bad.
I told you. I didn't think that
Laura's
was right.
inconsistent.
I did not think that was right.
Corin something was her dad's name.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like I said, I thought, man, that's like the least compelling of all the places you could tell a story about. And then they told the story, and I'm like, okay, you were right, I was wrong. That was a really good story, right? But that doesn't change the fact that you could tell any of 100 stories of Noxus and it would be super entertaining. Or you could tell any Ionian story and it would be pretty fucking entertaining. Vandal City is the only one that I think would be less entertaining.
I disagree with the fact that Yordles can be sprinkled into any story.
But they I can't stop yawning. Anyway, yes, but they don't lead a story.
This is true.
I don't think a Yordle is a compelling story leader. I think they're a compelling side character. They're a compelling, like Heimerdinger was in this. right? He's a moral compass that tries to do good things and is entertaining. But if it was a movie about Heimerdinger, it wouldn't be very good.
No.
And I think that's what Bandle City has to like largely offer.
If the only thing that a bit like Yordles could lead a story would be, oh, we're gonna just go to adventures on all different things.
Right.
We're gonna interact with other stories.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna take pictures of all these Pokemon. Yeah.
Teemo's gonna collect all the monsters.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, I think that
Poppy's, like, you could do Poppy's story with the hammer.
Yeah, that would actually
But
that would actually still, but you're still like traveling everywhere to do that. But
That's
I mean,
still kind of also Demacia. Like,
and
that is a Demacian story.
I do want to get like back to Arcane to a certain point of view, like
Yeah.
that like the only like spicy take I've got on the end of Arcane I do want to talk about. I'm gonna pre-apologize to listeners. If you are offended by what I am about to say, understand that is not my intention to offend, right? So hear me out to the end of what I am saying before you get upset. Okay? I thought the Vi and Caitlyn romance felt rushed. And that it almost felt slapped on to the story. Now, I am not saying that I don't think Vi and Caitlyn should be gay. It's not about that at all. What I am saying is that they should have laid a bit more foundation before they straight out like it felt like in the end scene at the climax they're like, oh, these two are gay and they love each other, when they had never really gotten to that point. Like, the most that had happened was that Vi acknowledged that Caitlyn was attractive, which in the context of the scene they were in, you're walking into a whorehouse, like, you're trying to get information, use your looks. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't come off to me as a pass as much as that's like a mission directive. You know what I mean? Like, hey, dumbass, you're hot. Use your looks. You know.
So, yes, I will say it does feel a little rushed. If you're taking it as, yes, they are 100% a couple. Do I think they are interested in each other? Yes. Are they very much, we have to, like, one person wants one thing, one person wants other thing. Okay, we're on a journey. And the real thing that really confirms that, you know, Vi maybe is probably into Caitlyn is when she walks past the room, looks over, sees Caitlyn's with a female prostitute, and then she's like, huh. Which
but wait, in that
as exaggerated.
Hold on. In that scene, though, right? What was Caitlyn doing with the female prostitute? Because I don't think she was like making out with her or anything. I think she was talking to her, wasn't she?
It was talking, but if like the whore was like basically like drenched over her, like, yes, tell me more.
Right, she's a whore. Exactly. That's what whores do. That's their job description.
Again, but it's Vi is like, oh, she chose a girl over a man.
Right, like, and to me, like, I think what would be a more like fitting Vi-ism would be to just walk by, look in there, seeing your friend getting aggressively whored on by a female whore, and then like grinning and like smirking through it, and then just walking on. You know what I mean?
Which it was supposed to be.
That feels supernatural for that scene. Right? Like, oh, look at this naive dumbass. Interesting, though. You're getting came onto by a lady whore. Walk on, right? And then maybe she files it away, right? Like, that's fine. But, like, to me, the scenes that are supposed to establish that these two girls are in a relationship are just not enough foundation for me to like jump to that, right? Like, so here's my point. We break into a whorehouse together. I tell you you're hot. Okay? I
Yes.
see you talk to a prostitute. I have a reaction to it. Right?
Yes.
We get kidnapped together. And I say of my comrade, like, don't hurt her. It's my fault. Hurt me. Right? That doesn't establish a relationship so much as that establishes a hero character.
Yes.
Right? Like personal integrity, not so much like I'm in love with her. Like you're a
cut out.
do-good. Oh, okay.
You cut out.
Not so much like I'm in love with her, but like I'm a daring do-gooder. Right? Like that's what that feels like.
It could be either or. Or it could be both. It could be I brought her here. You like I'm at fault. Don't like kill her.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is, like, if I'm in that situation, like you and I are going to investigate the old haunted mansion or something, and we break in there, and then we get captured, and some crazy dude's like, I took Stove, and I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna be like, no, man, kill me. Right? Like, this is my idea. It's not his fault. Like, we're probably both gonna die, so I'm gonna, like, do me then, right?
Yeah.
This is my fault, right? I'm not like, do me because I want to suck Stove's dick so bad. Like, no, that's not in my mind. I'm just trying to be a good dude. You know what I mean?
We're
like
also not gay.
Well,
That's the thing.
sure.
We're not into dudes.
Right.
So if we were both into dudes, I could be like, okay, I'm doing this even as a hero thing. I could see it as like, oh, like as she said, oh, my hero.
Oh, it's like, okay, like, I'm going to do this, even though I don't know that the other person's there, for the off chance that they are, and they might be romantically interested in me in the future. Like, that doesn't come across anybody's mind in this situation. You're just trying to be a good person, right? And so, to me, that didn't feel like relationship setup as much as it felt like individual character building for Caitlin.
Yes. What,
you know what I mean? Like,
because I just remembered it. What I think was the relationship, even at the start, the relationship buildup was them going to Caitlin's house and being in that room and talking, like talking about who they are. I worried about my sister. This is how things were. Kind of deal. I swear to God, did you got the fucking
I
dry ditch?
I did. I did go do that. I was like, you know what, you know what would make this discussion better? A blackberry ginger ale. That's what would do it. So no, yes, I will agree. That's where I was going to next. Was like, but everybody's talking about how this was like a long developing relationship, and I'm like, but it really wasn't. Like they had a couple of like it was a buddy cop movie up till that point, right? Like I'm from the wrong side of the tracks, and you're not, and we don't understand each other, but we got to work together because we have common interests. That's what it was, right? It had like a Rush Hour vibe before this, right? I didn't get.
I would say a lot more sexual tension.
Well, sure. I mean, they broke
Hour.
into a whorehouse together, I guess. But
the scene in the pits where like she got stabbed and they like you had to get the potion.
Yeah. I mean, there was some like I said, it was we're going to be out to help each other. Like we're establishing a partnership, is what it felt like. Not we're establishing that we're partners. You see what I'm saying? Like it didn't feel like that until the bedroom scene, right? And then like even then, it was like I'm gonna touch you gently on the cheek, and that was the only like real solid romantic gesture up till that point. And I mean, I guess you could argue because I don't clearly am not a lesbian. So maybe I don't understand the like emotional development of like a lesbian relationship or not, and I would assume that it's less physical than, a guy's relationship would be. Maybe I'm wrong about that, I don't know. But I don't feel like that's a huge leap. But that's like the only like objective act of physical or emotional intimacy up to that point that's unambiguous.
Yes.
Right? Like, I can't imagine a situation, even if, like I said, if you and I get captured and we have all this shit go on and I have to save your life and you save my life and whatever, there's at no point that I'm going to be like, thanks, Stove, and gently brush your cheek. Right? Like, that's okay. This is clearly a relationship at that point, right? However, that to me felt rushed, right? And it felt like that was put in there just so it could be leveraged in the final scene where it's like Jinx is feeling somehow abandoned and is projecting
Replaced.
is replaced. And is projecting her insecurity about her relationship with her sister onto her sister's relationship with what she perceives to be her girlfriend. And
Yes.
that doesn't even make any sense because those are not the same roles. I guess mental illness doesn't have to make sense from a logical perspective because it's not logical, right?
But she's crazy.
She's crazy, right? Like, but it's like there's the point. And, like, to me, the other moment that was, like, almost didn't make any sense was, like, when Vi had to choose to go back and save Caitlyn on the bridge. Do you remember that scene? Where,
Yes.
like, all the shit happens and Vi's kind of watching.
Yes.
And, like, all the butterflies explode, and then she, like, goes, fuck it, and goes back and gets Caitlyn or whatever. Even though, like, Jinx is there,
But she doesn't know Jinx is there.
Does she not? Felt like she did.
She didn't know Jinx was there until she started walking. Which led to the best scene in the... I will fight, that's the best scene in the show.
Defend yourself, sir.
No, after. I'm talking after with Echo and Jinx. I will fight. That is the best scene in the show.
Yeah. Okay, no, that was tight. That was super cool. The fight scene you're talking about between Echo and Jinx. Yeah, that was fucking cool.
I'm just... But that...
But, like,
I don't...
just picking your brain on this, because I was talking to Rick, and both of us didn't have an answer for this. Like, when it was implied that Vi could see what was happening. Because she was, like, looking around the corner, all those guards ran by, like, and she was, like, peeking the corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, it's implied that she's watching what's happening. But in reality, that shit is so far away that it makes no sense that she would be able to see the finer details of what's happening. How did you take that?
Is it that far away?
It's supposed to be. Like, those guards ran by, and then they do this shit, like, way off in the breach.
I thought it was more towards the Piltover side, like in the... Like, if we were to divide the bridge into thirds, it was at, like, the third part, which probably is maybe...
But no, I mean...
400 feet?
But no, I mean, remember when she's, like, grabbing her and, like like
lugging her?
Yes, lugging her. And, like, the visual distance, like, she's out of sight in, like, 15 feet. You know what I mean? Like, there's, like, smoke and shit or whatever, and there's, like...
This is post-explosion, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, like I said, there's that scene where she's, like, looking around the corner, and I'm thinking to myself, like, how far can she realistically see here? Because, like, and is she watching that fight, or what's she watching for? Is she looking out for powder? Like, what, I felt like I missed something in that scene, is what I'm getting at.
So...
And, like, Rick and I both had that problem of, like,
wait,
can she or cannot she see what the fuck is going on back there?
Because, like... This is pre-Echo Jinx fight? Or post?
Yeah, like, this is when, like, okay.
Echo comes out and...
Okay, so Echo's out, Caitlyn's out, and Vi is out. Then the corrupt sheriff shows up. The corrupt
Yes.
sheriff, like, shoots Echo,
Yes.
right? Tries to steal the core. Makes
Points the gun at Caitlyn.
Yeah, makes his power play on Caitlyn. Right?
Yeah. Butterflies come.
Butterflies come. Boom.
Explosions.
Right?
Okay.
Vi, like, sees powder, picks up Caitlyn, and tries to carry her away. Leaving the gem and powder.
See,
Like,
what?
that to me didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Why she left?
No, given Vi's character. Given that it is everything that she wants to, like, connect with and save her sister. That's what she wants.
It was. Remember that Echo gave her the box that had the hex core and said, "Go, like leave, get out of here, like return this because if it stays here, it's a problem."
So you think
And-
she picked duty over that, and she took Caitlyn with her because
I
she
think it
would
was-
need Caitlyn to return it?
I think it was Caitlyn needs to at least return this because you can't Vi or Echo return it and they get either
Yeah, they
axed
get-
or straight to prison.
Yeah.
Caitlyn has a little more leeway. So who's gonna go with Caitlyn? Echo understands that it has to be Vi taking her.
Right.
Because what Caitlyn and Echo can't, and someone has to go back to, like, basically hold off powder and everything she's going to do. Yes, it's really not in character or what we have led up with Vi in that she is all about saving her sister, but she also understands that this hex core is a big fucking problem and needs to be returned.
Yeah.
That's
The
what
oth- The other thing I have a question about is I will agree with you that the Echo Jinx fight was fucking raw, right? Like, that was woof, so cool. But the Jace Vi versus the Big Daddies from BioShock.
You mean your Chemtech, the Turbo Kangs?
Yeah, the Big Daddies from BioShock. You know, the guys walking around with the drill hands and the dive helmets or whatever.
See, I see that, but it's the fact that they are literally the item Turbo Chemtech.
I know that. I mean, I recognize that. I'm just saying, like, we saw those, like, Rick and I, we both saw this and we're like, and that's a fucking Big Daddy from BioShock, but also it's the Turbo Chemtech. Like,
Yeah.
Okay. You know.
See, I will agree that fight was raw.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Like, this is coming from a person who plays a lot of Vi, and I loved everything. As soon as I heard, what was it? As soon as she started charging, and I heard the sound effect, I'm like, I'm losing my shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
One, it was, and then the other thing is her fight with, like, fucking one
Savika?
arm. Yeah, Savika. That was fucking super
that
raw.
was good.
Right? But, like, you know, it was funny because Rick and I, we watched episode 8, and as episode 8 finished and it was set the stage for 9, he looked at me and he goes, how the fuck are they going to wrap all this up in one episode?
No.
And I said, I don't know. Like, it's going to be insane. Like, it's just the pace that you have to run to do something like that. Holy shit.
40-yard sprint.
Yes, 40-yard sprint. And they better be, like, covering some serious fucking ground, right?
Yes.
And they did. They did cover some serious fucking ground, but they did not provide closure to any of that shit. Like, they did it by not doing it, you know.
It was all set up for season 2.
And I mean, that's cool and all, but, like, fuck, man. Like,
We're left with blue balls here.
yeah, give me something, you know. But like I said, it was like I said, the relationship between Kate and Vi did feel rushed to me, and I like it almost felt slapped on. And I don't care if you're gonna make Vi and Caitlyn gay, but spend some time and give me a little bit more foreshadowing that that's the way that this is turning, right? at best, you've turned like playful banner into like a full-on relationship like that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I thought you and like I'm not saying like the cheek touch part was like not enough setup. What I'm saying is the cheek touch part felt like it was done without enough setup. Because to me, like that right there is like confirmation of relationship, right? Or at least sexual interest, you know. But like it feels like a disservice to the relationship if it's supposed to be this meaningful that it's more than just like we're like we're not just partners, we're partners in every sense of the word, right? Yes. Okay, if that's how you're gonna do this, like fine, but like set that shit up a long time ago, right? Like Vi has absolutely no problem with being direct. That is her character.
Very much.
Yeah, how are they like pussyfooting around this shit with a person who's like unabashedly blunt? Yeah.
You got me.
Because that feels out of character.
The only thing is that it's only 9 episodes and they're fitting way too many. They're fitting at least 3 full stories. 3.5 if you start including Mel's shit. They're fitting a lot of stories in a lot of episodes.
I count Victor's as a quarter of a story. Because I don't feel like they went very far in Victor.
I think I would give that a half. I would give that another half.
Well, like, and
there's a little bit more.
Well, the reason I say a quarter is because you've established that he's a founder of Hex Tech. Cool. You've established that he's going to need this to like get out of his shitty body, right? Like he has a frail little meat sack body. Okay, and he needs to get out of it. And then you establish that the Hex Core killed somebody, but he's still got to choose between life and death, and he's not really all that capable of making that choice. Okay. That is 1/4 of the total story. Because the rest of the story is going to be they try to stop him. They fail. He grows. He builds something. And then his character develops and changes. That's the other 3/4. And that could be season 2. And that's cool. But a quarter setup is what you need to make season 2 that be the plot.
Yes. I only say it gives a little more just because of the flashbacks and the interactions with Singed. Like those moments of going away. I'll be honest, I smiled like a dumb idiot when he was running because he just.
Oh yeah, that was a cool scene. Like, oh my god,
cool.
I get to actually have working legs. Like, thud, 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 thud. And you know the other part is remember that chick was like, Victor, check out my notes. You're so inspiring. Oh my god. And then like kept saying it over and over again. I was like, she's dead. Like she's dead.
I'm loving the continuous meme. It's like some guy at a party is just sitting there on a computer and like a woman's all over him. It's just like it's Victor.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't like. I'm interested in the whole thing. Like, I like how they progressed it. Jace's hammer was cool. It was cool seeing that actually spring into being.
Jace on Earth.
Yeah, but it's weird to me that like I'm not compelled by Jace's character at all. Like the golden boy of Piltover is really like almost boring to me and too easily manipulated.
I only like the only thing what makes me interested in what he does is the fact that they didn't make him get too swelled up in the I'm the face of tomorrow. I made Hex Tech. They very much wrote him to be like, no, I did this with Victor.
Mm-hmm.
This is our thing. I care about him
Yeah.
because he saved my life, and sure enough, Jace did the same thing for Victor.
And by the rules of arcade, we are gay now.
By the rules of the fandom, we are
Yeah,
gay.
we are totally gay now. Done. That's gonna be the next scene. Like,
This is my boyfriend Jace, and this is his boyfriend Victor.
destroy the hex core. Promise me. Face touch. Over. Like, done.
I'm
But,
very
like,
happy. I'm happy how they handled Heimerdinger too.
I actually am too. I'm glad that like they had Heimerdinger like go down into Zahn and try to solve problems. Like he gets ejected off the council, which that didn't make any fucking sense, right? Like that's probably the part of it that made the least sense to me. Is like Jace basically got like manipulated to like, oh man, you got to kick Heimerdinger off the council. Like one. You added one person to a council of 7. You've made it deadlockable. 4 and 4. That was the dumbest ass idea ever. Add 2 people to that council so you keep an odd number.
What? No, I thought it was Mel. Like he got power hungry, and Heimerdinger was essentially like, "No, you can't. Like you can't use magic. I saw the war. Magic bad. Technology good." To the point where I think Jace thought of it as, look what I did with magic and thing. We need to not halt over what you saw. None of us were here. Obviously, yes, it's an important problem that could happen, but we have to, as Piltover is, you have to move on to tomorrow. The city of tomorrow. We have to keep moving on. We can't just city of progress. Yeah. We can't stop here because you say, "Oh my God, magic is bad." No.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no. I mean, what my point is the council had 7 people on it, right? There was, and I don't know everybody that's on it, but there's mousy-looking dude, Mel, dude with the weird,
twink.
Twink, and then the dude with the weird metal neck. Thing. They went around in circles. Caitlin's mom, machine-faced guy, and then,
I want to know more about him.
And then Heimerdinger, and that's 7 people.
Wait, did we count Mel?
Yeah, I got Mel. And so it's 7 people right there, right? Whenever you add Jace to the mix, 8, and then you have potential for deadlock 4 versus 4, right? You wouldn't add like, another just one more seat to the Supreme Court. That would be a huge problem. They would always tie. You know what I mean? Yes. Or that creates potential for a tie. So like when Jace comes on the council, pretty much feels like somebody's got to go.
Yes.
And then so all right, peace out, Heimerdinger. Which that whole betrayal literally made no sense whatsoever. Like, Heimerdinger won't agree with you. Better undermine him completely and stab the man in the back that has looked out for you the most and has been a father figure to you. Like,
he did it because he knows Heimerdinger has to go for the city to progress and for Hextech to evolve beyond what it is, which is only just a trade or a basically teleportation. Because they know we could do definitely a lot more with it.
Right.
And he got buddy with all the council members with the scene in the opera house.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it felt very like I don't know, fast. Well, you gotta betray Heimerdinger now. I do? Oh shit. Let's go to the opera house. Like, what?
That's one of the 2 problems I have.
Okay.
The really 2 negatives is that yes, it is very fast paced. Like, everything is fast paced. I will not say anything isn't fast paced,
All right.
which can be detrimental to us to certain things, but I'm willing to just be like, how much time do I not know that's there?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on that isn't being shown?
Right, like what's the behind the scenes shit that
Exactly.
I don't really know about, so I'll give them some storytelling rope.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Okay, and that's fun. That's cool. Like I'm with you on that, and I think that's kind of a duty you largely owe the storyteller to suspend disbelief on this kind of shit, right?
Yes.
And again, that's why overall series is a 10. You know, I give those titties a 10. Anyway.
And the other thing is the only rewatching it, the only thing I didn't like was how crammed episode 2 is. That's the only thing.
Episode 2. What did they do in that one?
They crammed Jace's story, Jace being exiled. They crammed Silco and Vander and all that, and some more. Basically, all the stories in the show was crammed into one little episode, and they're trying to do the starting point of so many, basically of everything except for Powder and Vi.
Okay.
The Lanes, Vander, Silco, Jace, Caitlyn, Victor,
Echo was in that one. He was the kid in the antiquities shop or whatever.
Can I say Echo's design went from a 7 out of 10 in League, I think it's 7 out of 10, to a 10 out of 10 in Arcane.
Mm-hmm.
10 out of 10. Just get rid of the stupid, straight up Mohawk and just get Dreadhawk.
Actually, you're right about that. That would have been better. That would have been cool.
Well, I mean, we're getting Firelight Echo now.
Yeah, people are bitching that they don't think it's worth what Riot thinks it's worth. The skin.
It's a $10 skin that really is whatever. I'm gonna buy it.
I've already got my Cafe Cuties, so I'm just gonna roll for it. I've never been so pissed to own 6 skins or whatever on rolls, but fine.
It's one of the best skin lines.
Dude, I don't, you realize how many people I've talked to that I don't even know if people are just janking me because they've listened to my opinion on it, or if they actually legitimately are I think that's the best Bard skin. Why? Why do you think that's the best Bard skin? I'm cool if you can logistically explain it to me. I would love to actually understand.
He's wearing
I do not understand. Yeah. But all right, last thoughts about Arcane. That what miffed you? You said you had 2 problems, and that was one. What's the other one?
Well, no, it was that it was extremely fast paced.
Well, yeah, that was your first problem. What was the second problem?
The other one was episode 2.
Oh, right.
And how it can exist with how fast paced it is. I just didn't like how much the starting. You need at least a little bit more meat when you're starting a story, starting a character story. Yes, you can cram a bunch of stories into if it was 4 or 5, where everything's kind of established, and then you could start cramming everyone in together. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. It's the nature of what the show is. I don't like that. Your starting point. It's you're starting the MCU with Avengers.
Yeah. All right, that seems fair. All right,
you're shoving...
Patreon shout out. Ayachi Raiken. Thanks, man, for supporting the show. I appreciate you.
We all appreciate you here at Lola.
Me and Stove, both appreciate you.
I'm pretty sure everyone else does.
So,
Adrian, Smack.
Yeah, especially
Double
Smack.
Smith.
Smack's mentioned it all the time. Talks about how great you are. He won't shut up about it.
He's probably going to get your picture on his wall.
Yeah, that'll be his first picture. It's the dude's character profile. Just cha.
He put you on the do not kill list.
He's the only name on that list based on the guy's serial killer room. Oh shit.
Watch Arcane, everyone. I mean, you probably watched it, but
it's like Black Sheep. You remember that movie, Chris Farley movie?
yes.
When like doctors or whatever the guy's name is, he's like in the military, something Savage, and he has that like rocket launcher and shit, and he puts Tommy on the like no kill list or whatever. Ah man.
Oh, what was he? Oh no! Remember? What is it? Billy Madison.
Oh yeah, the weird dude from high school or whatever. He's like, he calls and he apologizes to him, and he's like, "Thanks, man, that means a lot." It's Steve Buscemi, right?
Yes,
and he's like, Buscemi. And he writes like, "Do not kill," and he adds Billy Madison or whatever.
Comes back and he kills the fucking villain. He's just like, "I am glad I called that guy."
Yeah. Oh man. So thanks, man, for your Patreon support. We really appreciate you, guys. If you ignored my warnings about spoilers, watch this fucking show. And the other
rewatch it.
I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. I thought like the show was actually kind of inspiring to me, from like a League lore point of view. Like it actually made me think about ways that we could fix Kim-Tech Drake that would also incorporate the lore of Arcane, like come up with like the spice or whatever the fuck that drug is called, and use that as a thing, you know.
Shimmer.
Yeah, Shimmer. Also, I thought like the other thing that I did want to talk about that I thought they knocked out of the park, right, was like villains are hard to do in these kind of shows. Like
Silco was a great villain.
Silco was so good as a villain. And Jinx was so good as like she is an irredeemable monster. And yet it is hard to create an irredeemable monster that you want to root for.
It's like you saw the breakdown. She's mentally gone. Whether or not Vi killed Caitlyn at the dinner scene, she would have been Jinx no matter what.
Right.
Like she is already mentally gone.
Yep. And like her killing Silco and Silco being like, "You're perfect." Like it was super interesting to me because while their relationship was a whole bunch of Stockholm Syndrome bullshit, and like he was obviously keeping things from her that were huge, right? Like, I know your sister's alive. That's a pretty big one. And like clearly he is not a good person. Right? But I do believe that he would not have given her up even to buy the nation of Zon.
No.
You know, I do not think he was going to give her up anyway. And it's
I give amazing credit to how they shot that scene where Silco grabs the gun and you think he's aiming at Jinx to shoot her, when it was actually pointed at Vi.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have all belief that you're gonna he's gonna shoot Jinx to get his nation, and he missed and shot Vi. He missed his shot on Vi.
Mm-hmm. Like so good. Also, like you have a character who needs to have eyeball injections. And has a device that literally stabs him in the fucking eye. It's just cool.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like
him going to the other underworld leaders. Like you see that scene, it's just like, yes, this seems like a scene with the Joker in it where he's gonna blow everyone up to get what he wants. No,
you're talking about where he gassed
Yes.
Golden
That room?
underbite, man.
Yeah, the entire council place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you think he's gonna go in and like guns blazing? No, he's literally just like remember where you came from. Like y'all got soft with all this money and with all the money traveling through the hex gates. It's like remember who you are to basically like he wants to push his agenda of having the nation of Zon.
You know the other good thing that I want to give them credit for in this series? That the captain that betrayed everybody and took Silco's money, like Silco's dirty captain.
Yeah.
You know, like the vaguely Asian guy with the beard.
I was gonna say the woman or the man.
Man.
Okay.
That guy. He has that moment where he looks at Caitlin after the explosion. He's like, "Tell my daughter." And then he just dies. He does not get his redemption moment. His daughter will never know what the fuck he wanted to say. Nope. You don't get that shit. You die. You suck ass and die, you piece of shit. I thought them to have the balls to do that was like, yeah, good storytelling. Like that was cool.
This show, I would have watched this show good if it was good or bad, just because of how good it looks. It looks immaculate.
The animation style is fucking killer on this show.
Perfect.
Yeah. It totally captures exactly the kind of feeling that you want with like, exactly what you're shooting for.
You see like any of the artwork of like Runeterra or the Rift, like you see that artwork, this is it. Like you could pause and it's a picture.
Mm-hmm. God, it's just so fucking good.
It's so good.
So, yeah, guys, if you haven't somehow managed to watch this thing, watch it. Watch it again.
Also, Echo's reveal was like super telegraphed.
Yeah, I saw that going 100 years old.
Oh yes, let's give a whole hip hop number to the Firelights. Gee, I wonder who it is.
Yeah, I actually thought the Firelights was. I knew something was gonna happen with that. Whenever they're like, "Look at all the Firelights," I've never seen this many. I was like, "That's a pretty foreboding." Kind of like, I can tell this is, this is meant as like a moment of like projection on what's going to happen shortly in the story. Like some significant event's going to happen with these fucking things. Yeah. And whenever they had like all the little like bomb bots, I was like, okay, that's pretty fucking raw. Alright. And then, like, I don't know, man. Like, the whole thing was just pretty fucking killer. But did you also not get some sort of sexual tension between Caitlyn and Jace?
Yes. I could see some as, like, I mean, they were both, what? I think she was, like, 14.
I mean, they're both hot.
I mean, they're both hot. Don't get me wrong.
Everybody's hot. Why not?
But it could have been one of those, I've known you as a friend forever.
You're friend zoned? I know a friend zoned counselor. I got one. So, all right, man. Well, good night, everybody. I am like starting to fall asleep in my seat, so I gotta wrap this thing.
7 hours of breathing.
Dude, I've had a rough week. So, I'll see you guys later. Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening to the episode. I'm aware I still owe you guys a solo episode, so I will get on that. Thanks, Stove, for showing up, and till next time, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
All right.